that's what happens. That's how that thing.
I was
feels.
saying we should make a
is.
collective account on Tinder, or some kind of social media account like that.
Ask for an orgy.
And not ask for an orgy, but imply
Imply an orgy.
and passively demand. And passively demand an orgy
We are
for
a group
multiple
of
women
four
online.
at a studio on 8th Avenue.
Looking to have a good time.
We may or
Come on,
may
ladies.
not want an orgy with 4 women. May or may not. This is what
Yeah.
the Tinder profile is going to say. I think.
Something along
I think
those
that's
lines.
what you're implying.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's gonna have really good pictures of all 4 of us.
I can't do that though. I have a girlfriend. You guys can do it's the 3 of you.
Oh, shit.
I'll take the pictures. We'll put it up on the website.
I guess
It'll be like
you and your
promotional
girl.
material.
Well, why can't you and your girl be there and you just smash her and then we just.
I guess we could figure that out. Perhaps we
Yeah.
can talk to her. I mean, you guys get the 3, and I'll talk. I'll start talking.
Yeah,
to
you
her
can just
about
fuck her while you watch everything happen. It'd be a crazy fucking experience. This is something we can't post.
it. Damn, that would have been good though too. That would have been really good.
I'm not into posting stuff like that.
Maybe
man.
someday when we're famous.
Yeah, the outtakes.
You guys will hear that when you actually give a shit. You guys will hear this. For real.
This
We
is
said it before,
ridiculous right here.
But
There's a game called YouTuber's Life.
what the fuck is that? Is that like The Sims?
Wait, you got to tell us about that in a second.
Oh my
but
God.
Before we do that, first things first, I want to welcome everybody to another episode of SDC Podcast. Welcome to the Self-Destruct Cast. Ladies and
Yo,
gentlemen,
it's
we've got-
Rafi in the place.
We've got Raph.
Hello.
We've got
It's
Jose.
Ho-
And we
ho-
got Drew.
Jose.
Drew
Drew coming through like a breeze. If I may or may not say so myself. Yeah, we're here in the music building, and we're here coming at you with episode number what?
Who cares? It
Yeah,
doesn't
who
even
cares?
matter at this point.
It's one of these episodes.
We just bring you as much content as we can.
Yeah.
And it's sometime near the 4th of July. We won't say exactly what day.
we won't say when because we don't know when we're gonna. Well, we're
gonna
pretty
post this
confident
as
when
soon
we're
as
gonna post. Yeah.
But it's near the 4th of July. It's not quite the 4th yet. And it's going to be our country's 240th birthday?
Wow.
242nd? Something like that, because it was 1776, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think it'll be a little bit, something like that.
Anniversary. Wow.
242nd anniversary of our nation's birth.
Goodness
What a
gracious.
fantastic thing to celebrate.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Isn't it
So
wonderful?
It's amazing, bro. I love being.
Yeah,
a part
but
of
I
this
mean,
country.
technically, we didn't really gain our independence on July 4th, right? Or am I wrong?
I think that's correct. I mean, we're not this is not a
That was
history
the-
lesson, but generally 1776, July 4th, 1776 is
declared.
accepted as the birth of our nation, even though there were a lot of other things that went on before and after that actually led to the birth of the American experiment, as it's been referred to in the past. Yeah, let's just say 200 and what is that? That's about 242 years,
American
I think,
history.
right? 1776.
Yeah, 1776.
24
yeah.
years.
That's not that old, man.
Or it might be
No,
238.
That's two people.
We're young.
That's two people.
Can we just let's confirm this, because this I really need to,
Well, no,
figure
3
out.
people.
The July 4th anniversary. This would be which anniversary of the United States? Because my math is just not even working right now. Today.
I'm a little confused right now.
Yeah, math is hard sometimes, man.
We're off
I
to a
don't know.
slow start, everybody. Sorry. We got a calculator out.
Yeah, it's 240 years. I was right the first time. See, you got to go with your
240
gut.
years.
240 years it's been. It's 2016. Yeah, duh. It's 240 years exactly since the birth of our lovely
Jesus Christ.
Lovely. Yeah.
I mean,
since the birth of Jesus.
I mean, the United States.
Both, I think.
Yeah.
Because Jesus was born on the back of a bald eagle when the United States was born, I think.
What? He was born on the back of a bald eagle.
I think that's
That
what Scripture says, doesn't it? Something like that.
But
American
That
Scripture.
means that wait, the bald eagle was big enough to hold his mom while she gave birth to him. I don't get it.
the Virgin Mary was on the back of a bald eagle,
Okay.
and that's where Jesus was. That's the American
That's the whole stork
version
thing. That's
of
the whole
tale.
stork thing.
That's where that came from, exactly.
Holy
See,
dude,
now-
you just blew my
I
mind.
just gave you a
Oh my
history
God,
lesson.
Oh my god.
I missed that.
You missed-
I've always wanted to know where the story
You missed it.
where the stork
Oh
came
my
from?
god, you missed
Yeah.
the stork origin story.
Oh, okay. So the stork is because when Jesus was born, he was born on the back of a giant bald eagle. 240 years ago, when America was born, Mary conceived Jesus on the back of this.
Mary
giant
had a
bald
little
eagle.
lamb.
So
That's where the song came from,
That's
too.
why the stork delivers babies, because the stork delivered Jesus 240 years ago at the birth of our nation. I think that's what
Wow.
I think that's what they say,
crazy.
like in Texas.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
somewhere along the lines of Christmas comes in. Christmas comes into play
Yeah.
there somehow. I just don't know how though.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we celebrate Christmas, but
Uh,
anyway, guys.
Yeah, what we said was total BS just now. Don't take that and Google it and try to prove us wrong because you'll probably drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of it was real.
It was a fun little tangent.
We might not even post that. Actually, we probably will.
I don't know. Should we?
Maybe not. I want to welcome everybody once again to another SDC podcast. Just in case we don't post the
Welcome.
beginning of what we just did.
We're just ranting right now. That's
yeah,
fine.
now we're just ranting, but that's okay. We're out here in New York City, and we're doing what we do. We're in the studio recording this podcast.
Padcast?
Padcast.
What kind of an accent is that?
Paddycast.
Padcast?
Paddycast.
Padcast. I don't know. I'm not sure
a
what kind of
paddy.
an accent this is.
Guys, we just learned of an absurd game. This YouTuber's life.
YouTuber's life?
Oh yeah,
YouTuber's
yeah.
life
Tell us
game.
about that. What the?
I have no idea. I just happened to be strolling through the sales on Steam,
This is why
and
we
all
had
of a
to-
sudden, YouTuber's life, guys.
This is why I had to re-explain the story of the stork scene because you were looking.
Yeah,
at
exactly. I had
In case you do or do not know what that is, audience, we'll see. But anyway, YouTuber's life. What is this
Yeah.
game all about?
What is this?
It looks
It's
like
like
The
The
Sims. It
Sims,
looks a little
but Utes for
ridiculous.
YouTube.
All right, so YouTuber's Life is an ultimate life simulation / tycoon video game in which you become the world's greatest video blogger in history.
What?
Edit videos, expand the amount of fans, and turn yourself into a wealthy fellow.
Oh, so that game is about this podcast. Is basically
Yeah, exactly. That game is pretty much about every person that's ever gone on YouTube to try and make, themselves
That's
into
so
something.
stupid.
So
Why
we
don't you
should-
just do it in real life?
Maybe we should be playing that game. I don't know, to practice. Maybe the game.
Raph, play the game.
Yo, man.
Tell me about it.
I fucking got so many followers on YouTube right now.
You mean
yeah.
YouTubers?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
YouTubers.
So
Oh,
they're not
sorry,
real,
yeah,
motherfucker.
YouTubers. Yeah.
So they're not real.
yeah. They're not real. No, it's a fantasy.
That's an
Don't
absurd
go out
kind of
there
fantasy.
and try. Stay inside and die.
Oh, you mean like if you just?
Hold on a second. We're about to turn this into a rap session.
I see where he went with that though. I see where that went. I see where that went. Yeah, man, that game seems a little bit ridiculous, a little bit absurd, and I think I'd rather just go for it than pretend.
It's like the virtual reality.
It's like pretending to be Kim
Office
Kardashian.
game. There's a virtual reality Office game. You
Like
put on
The
the VR.
Office?
Yeah, you put on not the
show?
Office, the show. No. It's just like you put on the VR goggles,
And you're in an
glasses.
office.
You wake up in the morning. You got to get ready for work. You go to work.
That's
You
absurd.
have to work at work.
Oh my God! No,
Like,
no,
why?
no, no, no.
Why are you doing this?
That's so stupid.
Is it like real time?
Why does that exist?
I don't know, man.
I hope it's not real
Good
time.
freaking God!
Imagine if people actually like sat there for like with a YouTube headset on
I
for
hope it's
like
not
8
real
hours,
Why would
Yeah,
you choose to
like
destroy your life like that?
doing data entry in VR. I don't.
Doing data entry in VR.
Yeah,
would be-
man. My life is so exciting that I need to dull it down.
See, but that might be a way to work in the future. Actually, in reality, you might
True.
just put on a VR headset and type on a virtual keyboard.
Yeah, and you're not actually
you're
working
not
off
at the
of a
office.
computer. Exactly.
Yeah, you're not even necessarily working off a computer.
You're
you just have a
literally
headset
remoting into work.
with
I can't.
motion capture. Let's say like your.
I can't buy into this.
Like what is the motion capture device that you attach to that VR headset currently, Raph? What are you talking about? It's sort of captured.
Leap motion?
I
What's the
believe it's
mechanic?
Motion, right? So
Motion
I
leap.
don't know. I'm just.
What's the
talking
gameplay
shit.
mechanic?
The gameplay mechanic for this VR?
Yeah.
No, I mean this. You could actually work this way in the future. You know, this is something
Oh,
that
I
you could
see.
actually do with the proper VR setup,
Yeah.
with a motion control that you could type on a virtual keyboard that you see but is not necessarily there. Anyway, I
Gotcha.
mean,
Yeah, I'm lost right now.
I don't know. It's just random.
Yeah, I would never do that. I would much rather. Well, we've already spoken way too much about VR. What did we come here to talk about again?
Today, actually, because of our 240th anniversary as a nation, we are going to ask ourselves.
Jesus.
Yeah, the birth of Jesus. The 240th anniversary of the birth of Jesus.
Created
Um,
the Jews.
And he created this country. And we're here to discuss if it's time for this American experiment to end, perhaps, or change.
You mean mainstream?
It's been
Yeah, it needs to
240
evolve.
years.
It needs to evolve. Absolutely.
It's always
Okay.
evolving.
If everything in the world has to evolve, this also has to evolve.
But there's a beat.
We're smarter now. We know more now. Why are we still trying to take advantage or create disadvantage? 'Cause that's what we're.
Create disadvantage.
Yeah.
How do you?
Well, we're creating, in my opinion, the moment you start giving people the ability, and now this may come off as being fucked up, but programs like welfare and whatnot, it's just like, if people are gonna end up becoming dependent, it's not like you're helping them until they can walk on their own. You're helping them throughout because now they don't want to work on their own. Why should they? They're able to still live and have a proper means of getting around and eating and everything. And I understand how welfare in many respects could help someone. I get it, but to the extent that it's taken advantage of is ridiculous.
So you think that we've become we've become disadvantaged, or we've disadvantaged people because we're sort of a welfare state?
Yeah.
In a sense. Well, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, but most of the people that are on welfare these days are military veterans. They're older people who are retired. So it's about half are people who are either disabled, too old to work, or are military veterans. About half the people that receive welfare. So there's a lot of people, yes, that do take advantage of it, but I would say arguably that there's a lot of people, at least that half, that deserve it. I mean, if you're retired and you can't make ends meet, you could make the argument, yes, that you should have figured out a way to get to retirement and beyond with your own income. But if you can't, for some reason, if you're disabled, especially, and if you're a military veteran, we take care of our vets, right? I think that's I mean, I guess that's a little bit odd, and that might be seen as a little bit hypocritical too.
But I mean, also, like,
Possibly.
why should they be classified under the same
Military.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same
Like,
thing.
why
You could
not?
say,
Why not? Why do they not have like their own fund or something like that? Maybe they do. I don't know. Honestly, I'm speaking with no knowledge.
well, they're supposed to have their own, their own military benefits that they're supposed to receive, usually if they're wounded in wars or something like that, I believe. But we don't really follow through on a lot of the things that we're supposed to do for veterans. But again, the argument could be made that what does a veteran do but go somewhere else and kind of enforce the American experiment sometimes with unnecessary violence?
Well, how about this? How about instead of
Are vets all heroes?
Well, how about this? They come back here and they're living a completely different life than what they've just experienced for the past 3 or 4 years of their life, right? It's completely different.
Shell shock.
Right, so it's like they're not the way that they were before. So how can you expect them to adapt to society so easily? Number one, and number two, how do you so easily give somebody pills and other what is the American experiment? They're also part of the American experiment because they're given these pills and experimented on. Okay, that's supposed to reduce their mood and play with their hormones and stuff and like get their mood balance and stuff and erase their post-traumatic stress. Well, guess what? There's a lot of other ways to do that besides pills, driving them over the edge or getting them addicted and making them go crazy with their legally purchased firearms that they have because they're licensed carried since they're vets, right? And also, check this out. Instead of poisoning their minds and making them feel worthless when they come back here and saying there's no job for a vet because of your medical condition, how about I saw a meme the other day on Facebook that said, hey, what about giving vets a chance to be armed guards at schools, universities, and like big places, and let a terrorist, I dare a terrorist come there and try something. You know how proud, like I'm not even into that stuff. You know how fucking happy a veteran would be just to be there and protect like the whole fucking school with his licensed, firearm and doing his duty as a citizen, bro. And even after the war, coming back and serving in the same way, he doesn't have to switch up his mindset. He still has the war mentality.
Yeah,
but he's going for the guys that are coming.
Okay, it'll slowly bring them in.
Of course, yeah. He has to learn how to manage that.
It sounds amazing.
Right?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Like it's you won't have these. You'll have a less of a probability of all these things happening like this.
Security guard placement programs.
Yeah, badass fucking veteran, like badass vet. With all the flags and all the pins. Like I dare you to come here, Taliban, and come here and ISIS, whatever, and shoot up this place. I dare you. You're done. You can't compete with us. We've been there, done that.
What happened this
Why
past
isn't that
weekend?
happening? Because it's by design. It's by design.
Did you hear about what happened this past weekend? Someone in South Carolina shot up a nightclub. Well, he didn't shoot it up. He was shooting at a dude after a dispute, but shot into a crowd of people. And a dude in that crowd of people pulled out his concealed carry weapon and took him out. Yeah. None of you heard about that, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah. But you remember all those people that died during that nightclub thing?
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck?
What about everybody that got saved? That night, right?
What about everyone that got saved?
So, bro, it's by design. It's an argument that's designed for everybody to divide a country. That's all it is. It's a setup.
Well, why is this particular argument? Which argument are we talking about? That
everyone and their guns. You got to take away the guns and this and that. It's just like, why? I mean,
or not even that. Just the argument that we've got to do something, whether it's taking the guns away or not. You know, whether it's small steps. But there's nothing being there's so like what I just told you about the vets. You know, that's a step forward. You know, I think it could make a considerable difference. Yeah. I think any logical person would agree with that, and also other logical people will come up with arguments why it's not the best thing, and I want to hear those things. But come on, why can I step forward and say something like that? Like, and these idiot politicians can't.
What do you really want to necessarily put a veteran with possibly post-traumatic stress disorder,
qualified vets,
and a gun,
qualified vets
in a school?
Not a vet that qualifies that he's a crazy maniac. A vet that qualifies, you know, he's gone through all these tests. He can't find a job. He qualifies for all these tests. You know, he goes through all these procedures. Psychotic or whatever. I don't know. You know, he's clean. He's not on drugs. You know, whatever. And he can totally do it. Why not? Why not? He's proven himself already.
Some people would argue that putting a gun in a school is a problem in the first place because when you put a gun in the home, that tends to lead to more people in the home getting shot. That's not something that necessarily is.
But if it's concealed and nobody even knows that it's there.
Even in the military, in some respects, they'll often teach you that once you have possession of a gun, you have to realize that what you're doing by possession of that firearm is you are licensing yourself to the fact that you are going to get into a conflict as a result of having a firearm. This is something they tell you in the military, in many cases. You're going to get into a conflict because you have this thing. So even in some cases, military vets argue, you know, why would you want to add another weapon to a situation where you can't necessarily identify where the problem is? You don't know where the shots are coming from. You might have a serious disadvantage, as in the case of the person who was in the theater in Aurora, Colorado. You're not going to pull out a gun when he's throwing smoke bombs and try to take the guy out. Now, from what I read about that argument in the nightclub, it was more of a personal dispute. So you do have to wonder what the intent was there.
Yeah, it's not like he was going there to shoot up the place. But he did mindlessly shoot into a crowd of people.
And you look at some certain places like Japan, where gun laws are very strict, and even the Yakuza don't want to possess a weapon. You wonder what would happen depending on the situation, depending on where it is. And this is me playing the devil's advocate as well, because the reality is that if I were to do anything about guns, I would say that in most urban centers, like in New York City, if you have people concealed carrying everywhere, you're going to run into a problem. You're going to run into a problem. If you have
that's
millions of people in New York packing
Nobody's
a gun.
saying to do that.
But that's exactly my point, though.
And not everyone
if you do it in an urban center
Nobody's
like New
saying
York City, I think that's where it's ridiculous. But in a place like North Carolina,
it's ridiculous until an incident happens, because it would have been absolutely ridiculous to have it in Orlando, but now it's not. So we wait for stuff to happen, and then all of a sudden it's not ridiculous. Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, now it's not crazy.
Is what you're doing saying that a place like New York City can survive and thrive and not have difficulty with everyone carrying a concealed firearm?
Not everyone. I'm saying specific people that have.
Well, I mean, everyone
they
that
specialize
can.
in this.
Everyone that can. That's in New York City, a city of 11 million people. That's a few million more people that are going to be carrying a concealed weapon. If you consider the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that qualify.
I'm saying make it like a doctor. Make it like a doctor's license, like a chiropractic license, where when you're in college, you make a choice. Like I want to do this.
This is what they do in Sweden, and Japan as well. You have to get very highly licensed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Make it your life choice to do this.
It's like if we had flying cars,
why can't
those
we do
motherfuckers would need to get their own license and go through tests and
Yeah.
shit. before they're getting up in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why
You're
would
pretty
you-
much becoming a pilot. So you gotta go to pilot school.
Why would you waste
know what I mean?
6-7 years of your life
You get a
to have
driver's
to get a
license,
gun to
right?
kill a bunch of people, dude?
Yeah.
You're
exactly.
going in there to save lives. You want to prevent things
And you
from
have
happening.
to have a
Why
certain
can't we
amount
have
of-
that? Why is that a problem?
You don't
A
have to go
certain
to
amount of
school
range
for it
time.
necessarily, but that's what
School,
they
like
do in other
training.
countries. You have
Do they?
certain amounts of range time. You get certified every single year. It's just like a car. You have to get insured every single year.
Yeah.
And some might argue, okay, what about our freedom? Just like with a car, why do I have to get car insurance?
Honestly, that would be perfectly fine.
But and here's the other thing too. When you compare it to a car, I remember John Stewart made this point a long time ago, and you have to consider this as well. But when you look at an automobile, for instance, they might say, why we don't regulate the car when cars kill people, when cars run into a crowd of people, when drunk drivers accidentally kill people, you don't get rid of the car. But you've added safety belts.
You have tickets
You've
and
added,
stuff, yeah.
You've added all these automated features. You've added airbags. You've added automated, we've added
Yeah.
a lot of things
Softer
to cars
things
in
Exactly.
the last few
People are-
decades.
Yeah.
The last safety feature we added to the gun was the safety. Think about that. That's the one thing that actually, well, I guess you could argue that these days they're
Yeah, but
making
it's-
biometric guns and things like that only
Yeah.
react to their owner. But the last safety measure that was added to a gun was a safety. I know it's a weapon for killing, but that to me, that's something that has to be sort of thought about. They haven't thought of ways to make them safer around children. They haven't thought of ways to make them safer
All right,
around.
I don't know
fine.
if
It
it's
is
a
a
weapon
weapon
for
for
killing.
killing.
It
It is. It's a weapon for killing.
What is
I don't
what
know.
else?
But
would
it's
it be
about
for?
how you choose. Because
It might be self-defense,
Yeah,
but
the
it's
dude-
still
yeah.
killing.
The dude during the
You're not shooting at somebody. I mean,
I could
you
scare
can talk about
somebody with
shooting
it.
somebody at the leg, but that's
Yeah.
unrealistic. If
I don't know if that's
even,
unrealistic.
No, even any expert that says
this dude at South.
anybody who
South
can
Carolina
tell you
did
about shooting a gun is going to tell you that trying to shoot somebody in the leg is one of the most unrealistic things you can do because you're not going to be able to hit a moving leg when somebody's trying to run at you or move at you. One. And two, shooting somebody in the leg doesn't actually always disable them like it does in the movies. That's a myth.
Yeah.
Plus, if somebody's leg is disabled and they're shooting at you, they can still shoot at you. All of that it doesn't work. If you're going to use a gun, the intent has to be. This is why they say this in certain circles in the military. I've heard this from people who have heard this from their drill instructors and things like that. When you have a gun, you're resigning yourself to the fact that you're 100% more likely to kill someone or get into an altercation. So that's the slippery slope. In a place like New York, I don't think it makes sense.
But
In a place
why-
like
I
rural
disagree
North
with that.
Carolina,
Because
I think it does.
that would be
More
with
likely to get
everything.
into
That would be with everything. If I
altercation.
have money in my pocket, I'm more likely to spend it. I completely
You
disagree
can't kill
with that.
somebody with money. I mean,
It
you
doesn't
can
matter, but it's an
indirectly
action
kill
that I'm
somebody with
taking.
money.
It's an action that I'm taking.
Are you saying it's
Like it's that has nothing to do with killing. It's like it's an action that you're taking.
But this is what I don't understand. Does that mean that you are or not advocating for guns in New York City? That's the
I'm
thing.
saying
No, no,
I'm
not
saying to think of it in
specifically
a
New York City,
go ahead.
Because that's what I'm saying. Well, again, I made the distinction between a place like New York City and some place that's rural, some
Yeah,
place that's
rural
urban.
area, yeah.
When you live in the suburbs or when you live on a goddamn farm, of course, carry
Why
a
not?
fucking gun wherever the hell you want. Nobody's gonna come and help you when you call 911. In New York City, there's police patrolling the streets, which
They get
there
stuck
probably
in
shouldn't be
traffic. They
either.
get stuck in traffic. I watch them every day right here, dude. An ambulance, police all the time, private police, unmarked cars getting stuck right here in traffic. They have nowhere to go. Okay, and whatever's going down is going down, whether they're there or not, dude.
But again,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
are
I
you
don't get
saying
it.
that people should carry
But wait,
guns
I'm
in
not
New
saying
York
that
City?
people
Why-
should. Of
why-
course. I'm not saying the average person should because there's a lot of idiots out there that are getting free internet off those free internet Wi-Fi stands
Yeah.
over there that should not have a gun. But let's talk logically here. Let's get past the fifth grade notion of I'm saying everybody. I'm talking about people that are qualified. We're under chiropractic doctor certified processes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being real. Like, you can't be a chiropractor unless you fucking go through vigorous
I see
training
what you mean.
because you can
Yeah,
kill
yeah, yeah.
somebody. Same thing with the gun. It should be the same thing. Let's get past the notion that everybody should have a gun, not the ballerina across the
No, but
street,
that's
not
not
the
what
guy
I'm saying.
downstairs. I'm talking about the trained
What I'm
What I'm
professional.
saying is 1 million to 3 million, maybe 4 or 5 million more people are going to be carrying a gun in New York City if you make it legal the way it is in other places. That's my only question.
Not the way it is in other places. Find a way so that way you can adapt it to this city. Just why the reason why Walmart's not here, we've adapted the city to the way we live. Same way,
Is there a Walmart in
adapt the
Brooklyn?
gun laws to the way we live out here. There's no Walmart in New York City, dude. For a reason, because mom and pops will be destroyed. They want New York to be a certain way. Same thing with guns. You can have new things introduced to the city, but regulate it and just change it a little bit and make it a little bit a better place, but not have it fucking crazy Wild West like it is in some places.
I still don't
you know,
understand why you'd be more
concealed,
likely to get in trouble, like into
but-
an altercation.
I
Is
don't
it
get
because you, as personally, you'd feel like, oh shit, something's going down right now?
Then
I
you
gotta
shouldn't
pull
have
my
it.
gun out.
Then you shouldn't have it.
Is that the reason?
When
You shouldn't have it.
Well,
You're just
I
more
guess
likely
it
to
depends
pull
on
it
how
out?
qualified the people are, and that's the question. How qualified are you going to make people? Because unqualified people are going to pull a gun out
For no
at the
reason,
first
you
sign
mean.
of an altercation.
Yeah, I
Happens
see.
in the hood all the time,
It
but they're not
depends.
qualified.
It really
They don't
depends
go through
on who
years.
you
Yeah,
qualify.
yeah.
And I guess that's the ultimate question.
Yeah.
But then why would they tell you that as a military person? Because then you're being qualified, or a cop. Should you not? Are you not going? Then again, the amount of like cop shootings and whatnot that they have sometimes.
It's
when the cops
crazy.
are shooting people for very small things because they mistook a situation.
It's a question of training.
Yeah, exactly.
But even the Malcolm Gladwell book Blink, I've read in the last like pretty recently, and he tells the story of I believe it's the Amadou Diallo shooting when he gets shot, the 41 shots.
Yeah.
It was a little over a decade ago, and if you think about a situation like that, if you're a police officer or someone like that, you have to think about this again. America compared to, say, other places, say like London, where they don't carry a gun if you're a police officer.
Yeah, they just have the batons.
When you think about a situation, they describe the situation in the book as it's a split second where he's standing outside on the stoop, which, because of the broken windows policy of New York City, when you're a police officer around that time, you see somebody stand out on the stoop just doing nothing, you're gonna walk up to the guy and ask him what's going on, because it seems like a shady thing to do. As soon as the police roll by, the second time, he runs into the stoop and they go to question him, decides to run back into the house, and it's all a split second thing where he pulls out a wallet, I guess maybe to show off his ID,
Yeah.
and you can't see it in the dark. So this is the reason why. If the police in London had run into the same situation, that person wouldn't be dead. That's where you talk about how a gun always adds a fatality, not necessarily to the situation, but the fatal element to a situation.
Yeah, the
because
most
if he
they
pulled
would've
out a
done is
wallet
beat
in
the
London,
shit
the
out of
most they
him
would have
with
done
it.
is hit him with the baton a couple of
Yeah.
times. In New York City, when you're a cop and you're frantic and you think somebody's pulling a gun on you, you're gonna pull out your gun, and if they still keep that thing in the air, whatever it is, you're gonna start shooting. But that's not an argument against guns. That's an argument against what does training necessarily really do. Also, because how can you react necessarily in the moment when you add that all of that split second decision making to the process? But
Well, that actually has a lot to do with your personal values as a human being, like beyond the training, your core values that you grew up with, that your parents taught you. I feel like at that moment you're making a decision based off of those instincts, not your training, your survival instincts that you have relied on since birth. And so at that point, everybody's different. So I totally understand that. You know, I that's how I feel like it works. You know, the training it transcends training from there.
well, I mean, I guess it depends on the personal values of the good citizens of whatever place you inhabit.
What if you hate your parents and you're a cop?
qualified.
What if you hate your life and you're like, I hate my life. I have nothing to live for. I'm getting this check. So, and I think he has a gun. I'm gonna shoot.
as
versus-
a cop or as
As a cop, as a cop, versus a cop who had awesome parents who taught him the value of life. Who, when he went to go fucking, I don't know, kick a cat or a dog, they were like, "Are you kidding me? Don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
This dog, don't kill things that are alive. Or you know what I mean? Like, I can't even explain myself.
we're sort of getting into a whole other argument there
Yeah.
too, because then that begs the question, like, how in the world do you decide who the hell is qualified for anything?
Yeah.
Police, guns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You really can't predict it.
public office, anything.
Life is unpredictable. That's the point. Everybody wants everything to be, you know what? Humans need certainty, right? But guess what? Life is not like that. And so people don't want to get shot. People act like, they can stop these things from happening completely, but it can never be stopped.
What's the alternative, though?
The alternative is to honestly work around it.
To let it be?
No, to work around it while working towards a difference instead of just babbling and not doing anything at all.
That's what most people do, anyway. There's not really much.
They don't want to
action.
make a change, bro. Are you kidding me? They would have made a change a long time ago. It's all fake, bro. I don't trust a single politician. It's fake. It's all BS, man.
I don't think it's even.
Wake up.
I think
Wake
it's,
up.
I think this is one of the things that's a problem. Maybe not just necessarily with all people, but maybe especially with Americans. We as people, you talk about what you want to change, but you can't even change. You can't even change yourself.
Yeah.
Let alone change anything else. You can't stop overeating. You can't commit to that exercise. You can't, change and leave the job that fucking makes you miserable. That's all a part of sort of maybe a global machine, but definitely the American way of doing things. You're just part of a system. You're part of, at least, most people are. You're just a person that is a cog in the machine that works at a corporation in order to create value for that corporation or in order to create value for whatever the hell that is, but not for yourself. So in a way, that's sort of a form of a reverse socialism, the way that corporatism works in this country, where you work for some entity that's making millions, hundreds of thousands, billions of dollars off of the effort of people that are getting paid, in some instances, when you talk about on the global level, cents on the dollar, or a few dollars an hour, $10 an hour, $15 an hour to do a bullshit job that doesn't make you think. And then, especially these days in America, when you go to university, they engage you to do one thing. They teach you to do one thing.
Goodness gracious.
He's like a cat right now. Raph's not even listening. He's playing with that's why he was making sounds earlier, if we include that in the podcast, I guess. He was playing with the massage pillow that we have here in the studio.
Awesome, man.
But
I was actually massaging my hands,
You were twiddling your fingers around the balls.
Right, that time I was. But
You were twiddling your fingers around balls.
See, no personal responsibility, man.
Red hot balls.
There's I think people in America are more self-absorbed. I don't know if that's a part of what it is to be American. I don't know if that's what if it's what a part of it is to be alive in the world today. Is that how it is everywhere else? I don't think so. I mean, I haven't traveled the world. I haven't seen what it's like in all the countries in Europe. I've seen some of the countries in South America. I've been to Canada. It seems different. And I've only visited there, but things seem a little bit less obsessed with this concept that you have to get by working for someone else. And again, I don't know if that's part of an American problem or part of a greater problem, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's just my rant on what that
I
is.
don't even know. Everything I said, I have no idea.
Structure, man. It's the only way to get so many people to make enough money to survive.
What do you mean?
In this unfortunate world. Like, I don't know.
So
I don't like money. I don't like the idea of what money does to a lot of people. But I understand that it's necessary.
Is it?
And well, I only mean I can't imagine going back to a bartering system at this point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you can't completely get rid of money, because then why would a lot of people ever go back to work for certain places? You know what I mean?
Well,
no one's going to go work at McDonald's because they want to fucking work at McDonald's, you know?
But at this point, we don't need people to work at McDonald's. You know, I mean...
Well, then again, you're right.
For the
that
most
would
part,
kill a lot of organizations that probably shouldn't be around. You know?
I'm very, very, very happy that the minimum wage going up is killing jobs at McDonald's in many places. And we talked about this before, you and I, Raph.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, and here's why. Because when you automate at McDonald's, hopefully, as a country, as a society, what people will start to do and start to realize is,
as strong individuals, man.
Yes, hopefully the better individuals, hopefully personal responsibility will take over. I don't really know about this latest generation, I mean these kids today, but when you automate everything, when you have machines taking orders at McDonald's, you have machines doing some of the work, and you only have a couple of people maybe on the assembly line flipping the burgers and a couple of people who are managing the system, what's going to happen is the jobs that are going to be available, even at McDonald's, are going to be more necessary and more important. Think about it. The people who work at that McDonald's in the future are going to be the people who are going to maintain those machines, the people who are going to manage those systems, people who are going to make sure that the people who do work there,
technicians,
who are going to be high
level,
level,
make more money,
are doing their job right.
Yeah.
So, in the future, the necessity for everyone to work. This is the whole point. This is why, sort of the way that America works is interesting, because there's an incentive for everyone to work. They talk about unemployment.
That's what I'm saying.
But in
That's
the
what I was
future,
saying.
not less and less people are going to have to work less and less. There's
But
no
how do
way
you
getting
get
around
what
it.
you want? Like, doesn't competition spark creativity
But no, not necessarily.
and newer and better things?
Not
'Cause
necessarily.
I want to be better than him. I want to make more money than him.
That's not true.
No,
not
how
I
does
mean,
that?
look at what China does.
if you read a great book by Daniel
China just
Pink,
fucking mimics.
called-
They're like, oh, they just came out with this. We're gonna. Look, did you not see the last iPhone, the fake iPhone?
yeah,
It was so the 6.
Yeah.
It looked
Okay, but-
exactly
it's not
like
just
it.
money. What motivates people
It's not
more
competition.
than money
I think
is novelty, is the desire to create something interesting. That's what motivates people. But I think what's happened with modern society is we've convinced ourselves what should be motivating is money, and so many people are broken by that. They don't know that what you should do as an individual and as a human being is simply learn to do what you love and maybe make that into a business. But again, as a society as a whole, I don't know if money is necessary to motivate.
Not
people.
money.
I don't think so.
Not money. Competition. You don't think that Sony looked at the SNES controller when they made their better PS1 controller, and then DualShock 1 controller, and then DualShock True controller, and
Well,
then so
actually,
on?
I would have to.
You
I
know.
would have to agree because the top of that PS1 controller, the flatness of it, and how it's actually. Oh shit!
Just the whole-
It's they have a cutout indent of a D-pad on both sides that looks almost exactly like the Super Nintendo.
So the whole controller layout shows you that competition drove the evolution of the controller that we have right now. We have awesome controllers now because of that first shitty controller that Nintendo made. You know, like I feel like
They made
competition.
the
We have
first ergonomic.
You know, systems. Look at the systems that are being sold. Competition is driving them to be better and better. PSVR. Now, what's competition gonna drive Xbox to do? You know, everybody's wondering. So it gives us a better product. I feel like without competition, we have a stalemate.
But what
And-
drives competition?
currency.
money.
Right now, currency does, and it doesn't have to be money. Currency comes in a lot of forms. Currency comes in favors. Currency comes in physical objects.
So then you're talking about
Currency
bartering.
comes in-
No.
Exactly. So I mean,
So
it doesn't have to-
money itself, currency itself, isn't necessarily, or currency as a form of dollar bills isn't necessarily a necessity.
for an evolving society,
isn't even real anyway.
absolutely. I'm down to say that for an evolving society, for us to get
For
better,
fledgling.
yeah, for bigger and better buildings, for more technology, better cameras, we need competition. Nikon and Canon
Fueled
need
by
to
money.
compete.
Fueled by currency of some sort.
Yeah, of some sort, because fueled by something that they both want, and in this case, it's currency, so that way they can grow.
So what's the tipping point, though? When do you get to the point where you say to yourself that not everybody has to work anymore because we've reached a level of technology in this society that says that at this point, basically, machines can do anything. They can do everything. They can.
I don't know. I can't predict that.
What happens when you get to that point? Do we
I can only hope
give
that
people
it really.
some sort of way to live? What's the way that we give people to live at that point? What's the incentive? Do we still tell them that they have to work?
The
a
smartest
meaningless job?
survive. The smartest survive.
Yeah, I hope
You get
at that
tested.
point that's exactly what happens. What happens is that the dumbasses of the world get weeded out, man.
Yeah, non-contributors, you don't get a
not-
piece of the pie. Sorry.
I'm not about the idiocracy life. That movie spoke a lot of truth to the diminishing of, the mental capacity of the fucking world, man. And at the job, I deal with it every day. And I just see how dumb these people are. And mind you, I'm not talking like, oh, they don't know. I'm not talking about academic smarts. I'm talking about basic nature.
They're
like,
helpless.
let me observe this, learn about this, and figure it out. No. Can you do this for me? They can't even read. These people don't even read.
They don't want to.
And that's all it takes.
That's
Just
the choice.
follow
They don't
the
want to.
instructions.
That's the key.
You don't need fucking people to tell you what to do.
But is that a uniquely American thing more so?
No, it's just people in general. There's a lot of fledglings out there that don't deserve to have the benefits that other people struggle to obtain, and they
It's
get it
true.
effortlessly.
I'm here thinking, how do I know how to use all this shit that, for the most part, I don't really use? I just figure it out while I'm standing in front of you, and you had the money to purchase this.
Yeah.
Where
That's the
did you
question.
get that money?
Yeah.
Remember we had
Figure
that.
this out.
Remember we had that conversation last time. I think what nice about giving money to a bum on the street and why? How come a millionaire walking down the street won't give this guy even $1,000? You know why? Because the millionaire sees money in a completely different way.
You're
If he
right.
gives that guy $1,000, he's gonna blow that shit on nothing and it'll be gone in a week. If you give the millionaire $1,000, he'll flip it and flip it again and flip it again, flip it again, and he'll have another $1 million after that. You know, so there's a big, we gotta weed those people out. People that are just not gonna contribute.
This kind of sounds a lot like, you guys like to make comparisons to video games. This kind of sounds a lot like Final Fantasy VII with the upper city and the lower city where all the
Yeah.
useless people kind of live.
Yeah, sector.
And that's, I mean,
Sector
I guess
7.
that's where you run into a problem. Do you let those people suffer? Do you let them die? Do you let
It's not only
them...
let them die. You give them what they deserve. Like you got yourself look at that. They're getting what they deserve right now, honestly, for the most part. And then we're evening things out because we're contributing.
Well, that's what
So-
gentrification is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
We're the lifeline.
Gentrification is you're slowly pushing out the poor individuals, and I'm not saying that all poor individuals are,
Bad.
are
Lazy.
bad. I'm not saying
They're not
that
all lazy.
They're not deserving, and they're definitely not all lazy. And I do, the ones who do work deserve reward, absolutely. But the ones who don't, exactly, man. Like, shut down Detroit. Like,
They
all
did,
like,
pretty much.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
It tastes like soap.
Detroit's the Wild West right now.
Yeah,
man.
it's
Like,
gotta be. And I hear like Compton is pretty bad too. I've
Why are you
never been to
settling
these
for that, bro?
places. Or I don't know,
I've been
someplace
through
in
Detroit,
Cali.
but this was before Detroit really got bad in the
Yeah.
last few years. Now Detroit is yeah. I mean,
I
you
saw-
could also say Detroit is up and coming as well because they're trying to create all new, communities and all new, types of infrastructure in Detroit, new buildings, a new thriving art community there. Who the fuck knows? But I mean, I don't know, man. It's really hard to say. Then it becomes a question of who chooses, who contributes, and who doesn't. And that's always the thing that I have to
Yeah.
at least think about.
Well,
Because
results show.
Who decides that? But who decides what the baseline of results are? Who decides what that exact metric is? And what if that metric is different based on what your value is to a society?
That's a good question.
What if you're not, again, like intelligent in a certain way, but you can fix the fuck out of a car?
What about
Or you can
education?
figure out
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
mechanically figure out things.
But
you
that's
can't,
perfectly
you can't talk
fine,
for
though.
shit. But I guess
Yeah.
it
because you still have a trade. You have something to get you through. You know what I mean? You at least you can work for yourself in that moment. Now you're on your own boss. I have the ability. It's like I just have to make use of certain resources to make sure that you get out there, and then you have the ability to continue and further grow, which is amazing. And if that's what you do, that means that you love doing it. So might as well make that the way you
some would say
survive.
the market makes that choice.
It's
and
true.
money.
But
I don't know.
That's the problem, though.
But I don't know.
I
So
don't know
many
if it's a
people
problem.
just don't know.
don't get to follow their dreams because they get stuck in the fact that, damn, I gotta pay rent, I gotta pay for this,
That's
I gotta
for
pay
sure.
for that.
Well,
and that
honestly-
is life. But
It's life, but guess what, man? There's always another way, dude. You can't lock yourself into saying that, this is the one way and it's not gonna work. Yeah, I have to pay rent and then so I can't do anything else. No. There's got to be another way, dude. I just read an article online about getting free money every month. You can get like $75 a month or something like that for
sorts
filling
of
out
different
surveys.
ways, yeah.
So it's like, come on, bro.
Jim Carrey-
Now you're reaching.
Jim Carrey
Now
lived in a car, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't need to pay rent. You can live in a car, like you said. And if you have kids, that's one thing. You can't abandon your kids and have them living in a car. That's retarded.
Yeah.
But you could find and avidly fucking search for a really cheap place to live, and teach your kids about sacrifice while building yourself up. There's
Well,
got to be a way.
Before I came back to New York from Chicago, I was considering buying a trailer home or a trailer car of some sort and moving to Williston, North Dakota, as there was an economic boom there because of a massive amount of oil that they found. So the jobs that were there were being paid at double or triple the normal amount that you would find anywhere else in the country where you work at McDonald's and make like $20 an hour. But that's neither here nor there. Obviously, I didn't do that. But at the same time, you can always choose to make choices. You can always make choices like that in many situations. I did that for my own personal reasons, like family and older parents and things like that. But at the same time, you have to decide, I guess, what your priorities are. If money is the only priority, if being able to make it, just make it, pay rent, pay bills every month is your only priority, I guess.
Nah, I mean
don't
there's
know.
more to life than that, bro. You've been conditioned. If your purpose is to pay bills and it has anything to do with some kind of numerical value and stuff
Obey.
like that, and I'm on a schedule and all this stuff. No. You've been conditioned like a dog to follow society. Okay, there's so much more out there.
You guys,
A friend of mine recently quit his job. I told my mother. My mom's first reaction is like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
Don't tell your mom about me.
Oh my God, what happened?
yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't like it there?
No, it's just the her like,
Maybe
oh
it
my
wasn't
God,
right?
what are they gonna do now? How are they gonna survive? They already found another job.
Old school, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Don't
that
tell her
important?
about me, man.
Well,
Unless
everybody's
you already
programmed for
did.
that money, man. Have you guys ever seen They Live? That movie with Roddy Piper and fucking Keith David, where they have those sunglasses that can see billboards and people.
Yeah, I know exactly
with
what you're talking about.
And they're actually aliens.
It's such a horrible movie, but there's
No.
so much truth to
Oh,
it.
that movie's great. What are you talking about?
I haven't seen it.
It's
I've always
so-
wanted to.
Oh,
I've
you-
always
you
seen the clips. I
have
see the
to
clips
watch
on
it.
the internet all the time.
It's a
they
camp.
always bring it up.
It's a camp classic. It's so bad that it's
I
fantastic.
forgot the name of it.
It's called They Live.
They
No, it's actually not a
Live,
bad
that's
movie at all.
right.
It's actually not a bad movie at all. But it is a campy movie. But it's a movie where the main character, which is the wrestler Roddy Piper, finds a box of sunglasses and he can look at billboards and like billboards instead of showing
consume.
they say consume, obey,
yeah.
procreate instead of like what the actual
Yeah.
advertisement.
And
so
he'd
true.
take the glasses
Summing it
off
up.
and you'd see the
Yeah, and it would be normal
Subliminal
again.
messages.
When he would put the glasses on, he would see like the aliens that had infiltrated society and put up these billboards and these structures in
Wow.
order to like it's a fucking great movie, man. I don't care what
is.
anybody says.
It is.
It's a fantastic movie. You
I
need
gotta
to watch the whole thing.
I gotta watch it.
It's again, it's campy, but if you haven't seen They Live, it was a great.
Oh,
it was
there's
a
a
John
hilarious
Carpenter
fighting
movie.
scene in
It
that.
was-
You think
oh,
there's
yeah,
aliens
they
living
fight
among
for like
us?
30 minutes. I mean, it's not that long, but they fight for a while, like
Yeah.
him and Keith David. What's that?
You think there's aliens living among us?
I don't know.
Possible.
Maybe.
But I mean, there's no way.
Maybe
to
it's
really
just
know.
like that movie.
Maybe I'm an alien. I always
Maybe it's
think
not just
that
a commentary.
sometimes, actually.
We're all aliens. We probably there's theories that the matter that turned into human beings came from meteors and asteroids
course,
from other
yeah.
planets.
I mean,
So in a sense, we're all
carbon.
aliens, right?
We're carbon and water.
You
man.
think
Star
we're-
stuff, man. You're made of exploding stars.
You don't think we've originated from planet Earth? You think we came from somewhere else?
It's who knows? It's possible. We might have been a little microbe that came from another
The
freaking
possibilities that are
another solar system and landed here. And
what makes up our body has always been here from the big age of the Big Bang. Could you imagine?
well, yeah, that and
Like,
that
everything
and
on us.
the explosion of
You
stars.
ever thought about water?
Supernovas releases the carbon and all the heavy elements that make.
What
us
about
up.
water?
Water is
For the
one of
most
comes
part,
from other
water's
planets.
been here since the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true actually.
A lot of the
And
fundamental
it's the same
elements
water.
existed from
That's
early
incredible.
on through
Yeah.
the first interactions of stars, the first interaction. Once stars started to form,
Is
all
it
of
the
those
same-
things started to exist. Yes, and it is incredible.
Isn't it the same? Is it really the same water?
Well, thing is though, we've introduced so much of our own unnatural hydrogen and oxygens or whatever
Yeah.
that like
How do you-
who knows?
how do you
Because this is
introduce-
H2O.
Is what we do unnatural if we came from the Earth?
Well, is our
Head scratch.
artificial
Doing is natural.
recreation of elements.
Head scratch. What is natural?
Yeah. If we came from the Earth, then to say what we are doing is not natural is to say that we're not from the Earth. So there's a contradiction there.
Again, such a wonderfully slippery slope because then
Yeah,
you
it
don't know.
is.
Yeah.
Then you don't know what the hell anybody has to do in any situation. You could just say that it should all be
mean,
anarchy.
These buildings are not natural.
Burn it all down. Yeah.
How
that
do you know
building
that?
we're looking
The
at is
anthills
not
aren't natural either. 'Cause
Anthills are totally
Anthills are
natural.
anthills are something that
They're
they
made of
construct
dirt.
out of sand.
Then-
So is this. This is made of elements from the
cement
Earth.
is a man-made thing.
You can find cement-like stuff around the Earth. I bet
Sure,
you can.
but this is not. This is all literally man-made chemicals.
Exactly, it's
And in
man-made.
fact,
So
it
we're
dumps-
natural from the Earth.
No, it dumps so much shit into the fucking atmosphere. It's crazy.
But
to
we're
think.
natural from the Earth. So if it's man-made and we're natural from the Earth, that means it's natural. The buildings are natural, and so is the gas that comes out from it. And while it might be destroying the earth, this is destined to happen because we're natural and we're parasites, and that's what parasites do.
I see what you mean.
Well, everything has to use resources.
The host must die.
Everything has to use resources. And so all of us people are destroying it.
Parasite.
Just burn it all down. I think that's really what we need to do. Just burn down the edifices. Burn down everything that man has made. What are
What's
you doing
not
there?
natural? What's natural? What's
We're
not?
parasites. That's what he's saying.
I mean, we do a little more sophisticated version of that dance, but we're just walking around going like this. It's like,
Little rat people. Just trying to
you win.
take the resources we can.
I'm telling you,
That's a hopeless way to think, I guess.
that's not how I live, but that's the reality. I recognize that.
Yeah.
I'm just living like this so I can have fun. I'm making the best of the situation.
Yeah.
Like any survivor attitude mentality would do. I mean, it's gonna happen. Yeah, that's how you live. Anything you get through unharmed is a great fucking experience. And
Just
any
getting through the next
situation
day.
you find yourself in, you better make the best of it. You can focus on the positive or the negative. I could focus on death, or I could focus on life. I could focus on pain, or I could focus on happiness.
You guys want to go fishing tomorrow?
No, I can't.
Oh man, I want to go fishing.
Andrew wants to live life.
I just want to do it early.
Yeah.
Also,
Andrew wants to live
it's-
that life.
It's
Oh man, sorry. Yeah. So guys, next time I want to talk about sharks.
All right. You want to talk about sharks?
Yeah.
Sharks are awesome. I like to talk about sharks. I
Yeah,
don't know
next
what
time
we're
we're
going to
talking
say
about
about
sharks.
sharks. We're going to talk about
I think they're adorable.
We're going to meet
well-
sharks when we go swimming.
Yeah, not only are they adorable, but they're actually more intelligent than we previously thought.
So are
We've been doing a lot
birds,
of research
man.
on them.
Birds are smart. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Guys, you want to shut this down?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I guess I should.
This kind of ran on for longer than maybe we would have wanted it to, but probably for as long as you guys wanted it to, and we do it for you anyway. So thanks, guys, for listening to another episode of SDC.
Thanks for joining us. We're signing out
Say
here.
buttcast?
The self-buttcast.
Self-destruct buttcast?
Self-destruct.
Somebody said buttcast. Anyway,
Guys, Drew Brees is enjoying his massage here.
yeah, I'm massaging my head.
He'd like to say, yeah, he's using that damn massage pill that's just distracted everybody today. And I'm
Later, guys.
Jose. Stay in peace. Raph says goodbye. Love you.